Canada, the land of maple syrup, hockey, and crippling financial anxiety? Welcome to the silent depression no one's talking about, except maybe your parents when they remind you how they bought a house for $100,000 in 1992. Yeah, thanks, Mom and Dad. Let's dive in. Alright, so here's the deal. Living in Canada these days feels like playing Monopoly, but you start the game already in jail while your landlord owns Boardwalk and Park Place. Sound relatable? Yeah, me too. 1. The housing Hunger Games. Let's start with housing. You know, that thing we all need to survive? The average house in Canada costs over $700,000. And that's the average. Want to live in Toronto or Vancouver? Well, say hello to a cool $1.2 million for a tiny box with walls. Meanwhile, real estate agents are out here posting listings with phrases like cozy starter home, and it's literally a shed. If you're thinking, I'll just rent, surprise. Renting isn't much better. The average rent for a one-bedroom is over $2,000 a month. At this point, landlords might as well skip the formality and directly ask for your soul. And forget about having a family, 2 bedrooms? You might as well be renting the moon. And then there are the boomers with their avocado toast sermons. Listen, boomers, I could give up avocados, toast, and my firstborn child, and I'd still be living in my parents' basement. The math doesn't add up. Unless you want us to start bartering with turnips, we're going to need some realistic advice here. Alright, let's talk wages. Spoiler alert, they're not keeping up. Wages in Canada have been flatlining while the cost of literally everything, groceries, gas, utilities, even Netflix, keeps going up. Inflation? Inflation is that obnoxious party guest who refuses to leave and eats all your snacks. You know it's bad when $100 at the grocery store barely gets you a loaf of bread, some milk, and a sad-looking apple. And gas prices? Don't even get me started. Every time I fill up my car, I feel like I deserve a standing ovation for bravery. Who knew getting from point A to point B would cost as much as a plane ticket these days? And let's not forget the companies out here giving us thank you pizzas instead of actual raises. No, Karen from HR, a slice of pepperoni won't help me pay my hydro bill. 3. Debt, Canada's national pastime. B-roll of credit card bills and student loan statements piling up. Speaking of bills, let's talk about debt. Canadians owe $1.85 for every dollar we earn. Wrap your head around that. We're basically living on credit cards and hope. At this point, I'm pretty sure I'm a co-owner of Visa. And student loans? Those are like the uninvited wedding guest that refuses to leave. Here's a fun fact, paying off student loans in Canada feels like trying to empty a pool with a teaspoon. Even if you work 3 jobs and never take a vacation, you're barely scratching the surface. It's a vicious cycle, one where the banks are winning, and the rest of us are just trying to survive. And then there's healthcare. Yes, it's free, but good luck actually using it. Need a specialist for a non-urgent issue? Cool, see you in 8 months. Maybe. Meanwhile, mental health services are so expensive they might as well come with a designer label. Oh, you're feeling overwhelmed and anxious? Just meditate and go for a walk. Thanks for the advice, Janet, but I'm pretty sure a yoga mat isn't going to fix my existential crisis. 5. The death of the Canadian dream. The Canadian dream used to be about working hard, buying a home, and retiring with dignity. Now? It's about surviving until payday and hoping your landlord doesn't hike the rent. Forget a dream, this is a full-blown nightmare. And let's talk about retirement for a second. At this rate, I'll be working until I'm 90, handing out fries at the drive-thru and telling kids, back in my day, fries cost $2.50, and we couldn't afford those either. Look, I'm not saying Canada is doomed, but we're definitely in the group chat. This silent depression isn't going away until we demand real change, fair wages, affordable housing, and maybe a little less corporate greed. Until then, hang in there, Canada. We'll get through this. Probably. Do you think life in Canada is harder than ever? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's vent together. Like, share, and subscribe, because therapy is expensive, and yelling into the void on YouTube is free.